Will is pasaki will. Medallion giskuk. Nida. For those that don't know me, Liu is Nil Roger, no jayao nil madak migog, Lina Meekwas, Naga meetaux nil wajayawid, Negutkuk, Alwata nil Paul the Machiwis, Machiliwis, which we majagi, Lagumagnictic nil soccer basins, Naga Niklasuk, Sidanictic. And what we're talking about today is where I teach at the school. We teach from kindergarten, pre-kindergarten, all the way up through 8th grade. We talk about language. We don't just teach the language, because without culture and history, you can't understand the language. Without language, you can't understand the culture and history. In our words, in the way we speak, it describes our culture. Whenever we say Kchigikwasin, we know what that means. Whenever we say simple words like Dupkwan Jite, because not Dupkwan, we describe in our minds what it is. So that tells us what our culture is. So when you're here learning the language, you're not just learning language, you're learning the whole culture. You're understanding how we see the world. And I've always believed that the kids at school, we have to teach them the language. Because if we don't teach them the language, they'll only understand the world in English. And to better explain that, I'll talk about Dupkwan. We teach them the colors. Mak Wayu, Wiza Wayu, Wabayu, Mugaza Wayu. And one of my favorite is Dupkwan Jite. Dupkwan Jite is what color to us? Brown. And Dupkwan Jite is brown. But really, when you're saying Dupkwan Jite, it doesn't really mean brown. You're saying, you're describing something. Who can tell me what you're describing?
Dirt.
Dirt or soil. It's the color. Jite means it's the color of something. Dupkwan is our word for the soil, or some people call it dirt. Dirt's a good word in English. Dirt is what is on the earth. Dirt is what's laying there. And when you pick it up, you can look in the dirt. But when parents see that, get that off you, wash that off. Look at that dirt. Or they use that word to vilify everything. They say, that's dirty, put it down, don't touch that. Oh, don't look at that, that's so dirty. So they use the word dirt in a bad way. And in English, if we only taught them the English word for dirt, they'd learn that dirt and what the earth's made of is something bad you don't want on you. But if you look at the way we call it, Dupkwan, it's a compound word. Kwan would be some sort of substance. And dup comes from dupe. Dupe means full in our language. So when you pick up the soil and we say dupkwan, it's a substance that's full. Now what it's full of is molecules of our ancestors that have decomposed over time. As we put them back into Mother Earth, they decompose, and the minerals and all of the nutrients that come from decomposition comes up to feed the plants, and we have more grass, we have more trees, we have more of everything that we need, all of our foods, our fruit, our vegetables. They need Dupkwan to live. So to us, Dupkwan is a good thing. And everything that comes from her, we eat. That's how we live. Even if we say, well, no, I eat moose meat. Well, the moose has to eat from the plants, from the earth, which is the Dupkwan, which is the stuff that's full of life. And the kids need to understand that the earth is not a dirty thing that you don't want on you. The earth is our mother that gives us everything that we need to live. So when you teach them the words in our language, Dupkwan, they're not afraid of it. They don't think it's icky. They love it because they know it brings them whatever they need to live, everything that they need. Dupkwan is a good thing in our language. And I always say that when we teach those words to our kids, we're showing them the world through the eyes of the ancestors. Because the ancestors would describe the world around them using those words. And that's how they would get their worldview, is looking at the world through those eyes. When we teach these guys the language, we're teaching them to see the world the same way our ancestors did. And that's what's going to keep our culture going. It'll keep our traditions. It'll keep our language going. So these kids, it's so important that they learn these words right from what the ancestors taught us. So it'll never change. I always feel good whenever I look at the kids and say that they're here, they're learning, and They learn so fast. They're ready to learn. They want to learn. That's the time to teach them, when they want to learn. When they get older, they don't want to learn anymore. A lot of them are already starting to go like that. They don't want to learn, they just want to be entertained. When they're at the age and they want to learn, that's what we got to do. We got to teach them and answer the questions that they have. Some people think, oh, it's complicated, but it isn't. You say a couple of things, they'll be all right. Okay, they'll come back and ask the rest of it later. Tell them the truth. Tell them about the culture, the language.